Hello students, this is Dr. A.S. Riyad from Sanjeevani College of Engineering, Kopargaon. I welcome you all for the second lecture or second problem on analysis of continuous beam using finite element method. In first problem we have solved a very simple case, two span beam with fixed support and two roller support. But there are some special supports in civil engineering which you must study in the analysis of structures, and one of the special support is guided support. So in this lecture we will analyze one continuous beam which is having one guided support at the end. Okay, so the problem is one continuous beam is given to you, two span beam, left support is fixed, middle support is a roller, and right end is called as guided support. The meaning of guided support is this support allows the point C to move vertically up and down using these rollers. So with the help of guided support, point C can move vertically up and down, means vertical displacement is allowed. Now WC is not equal to 0. This WC is not equal to 0, but it allows only to move vertically up and down. Guided support will not allow the joint to twist. It means theta C is equal to 0 in guided support. So the boundary conditions are in this beam, because of fixed support WA and theta A are equal to 0. Because of roller support WB is equal to 0. And because of guided support theta C equal to 0. So our final unknowns are theta B and WC. Out of 6 unknowns, 4 displacements are 0 and our final unknowns are theta B and WC. So please understand, at guided support vertical displacement is not 0, it is unknown, and rotation theta is equal to 0 at guided support. Okay, so the first step of the solution, we all know that if you go through our first lecture on analysis of continuous beam using FEM, we have discussed the first problem in detail. So first step is element stiffness matrices. So there are two elements in the given beam. Element number 1 is a member AB. Element number 2 is a member BC. Okay. This is our standard stiffness matrix of any beam element. In last problem also we have discussed this. First two columns are corresponding to left joint of the element and remaining two columns are corresponding to right joint. If this is first, left node is first node, this is W1 theta 1 and right node is W2 theta 2. So first two columns are corresponding to left node and remaining two columns are corresponding to right node. So this is standard stiffness matrix of beam element. EI is outside this stiffness matrix because it is uniform, common in all elements. Then 12 by L cube, 6 by L square, minus 12 by L cube, 6 by L square, then 6 by L square, 4 by L. All these elements are depend on value of L and I outside the matrix. So if you put the value of L of each element one by one, you will get the stiffness matrix of beam elements. So our element number 1, L is equal to 4 plus 4, 8 meter. So if you substitute L is equal to 8 here in all elements, and if you calculate all elements of this stiffness matrix, this is your final answer. So K1 is equal to, if you put L is equal to 8, EI outside, if you calculate all elements, this will be K1. The first two columns of K1, left joint of element number 1 is A joint. Unknowns of A are WA theta A, and right joint is B. Unknowns are WB theta B. So first two columns are corresponding to joint A and remaining two columns are corresponding to joint B. So write down WA theta A, WB theta B on the top of matrix and similarly on the right of matrix. Okay, this is first element stiffness matrix. Second element stiffness matrix, if you carefully observe, both the elements are having same span, that is 8 meter. So if the span is same and already given EI is constant, and span is same, means stiffness matrix remains same for both the elements, because stiffness matrix is depend on only L and I. If L and I is same in two elements, stiffness matrix must be same. So elements are same, but in second element, left joint is B, right joint is C. So unknowns of left joint are first two columns, unknowns of right joint are remaining two columns. Therefore, WB, theta B, WC, theta C, write down on the top and write off stiffness matrix. Okay, so if two element stiffness matrices are over, then if you impose the boundary conditions in these two element stiffness matrices, we will get reduced stiffness matrix. Now, what are the boundary conditions? Already we have discussed. Boundary conditions are, since the left support is fixed, WA and theta A is equal to 0 because of fixed support. Middle support is a roller. If it is a roller, vertical displacement is equal to 0. So WB is equal to 0. WB is equal to 0. And third, on the right end, guided support is provided. Guided support means vertical displacement is allowed, but rotation is equal to 0. So theta C is equal to 0. So four displacements are 0. So in element stiffness matrices K1 and K2, eliminate 4 rows and 4 columns corresponding to this displacement. Okay, so first WA and theta A are equal to 0. So eliminate row and column corresponding to WA, eliminate row and column corresponding to theta A, and eliminate row and column corresponding to WB. So 3 rows and 3 columns will be eliminated from first stiffness matrix because first 3 displacements are 0. So remaining element is only corresponding to theta B. Now in second element stiffness matrix, WB is equal to 0 and theta C is equal to 0. So eliminate row and column corresponding to WB and row and column corresponding to theta C. So WB means first column, theta C means last column. Similarly, first row and last row. So rows and columns corresponding to WB and theta C will be eliminated. So remaining elements are elements corresponding to our final unknowns. Final unknowns are now theta B and WC. Theta B and WC are our final unknowns. So only elements corresponding to these two displacements we have to write down. So reduced stiffness matrix, step number 2. Reduced stiffness matrix K is equal to EI outside. Now theta B and theta B. So theta B element. If you refer the first stiffness matrix, there is only one element, theta B. 0.5, and in second stiffness matrix theta B 0.5. So there are two elements corresponding to theta B. 0.5 plus 0.5, answer is 1. Now second element, column WC and row theta B. Column WC, row theta B. So it is column WC and row theta B. It is minus 0.0937. Okay. We know that stiffness matrix is symmetric matrix. So this element is equal to this element. Now last element of stiffness matrix, column WC and row WC. Column WC and row WC, it is 0.0234. So like this, now find out reduced stiffness matrix from element stiffness matrices after imposing the boundary conditions. Okay. Now step number 3. After reduced stiffness matrix, step number 3 is to find out element nodal load vectors. So element nodal load vector. Element nodal load vector is represented by vector Q. Now to find out element nodal load vector, first we have to restrain the beam at all support. Restrain means we have to fix the beam at all supports, and then we have to find out fixed moments and reactions. So fix the beam at all supports. So element number 1. Element number 1 is having central point load 40 kilonewton, 4 meter span. Okay, first element. Now if you find out fixed moments in this element, central point load, fixed moments are WL by 8, WL by 8 at both ends. Left end is anti-clockwise, right end is clockwise. So left end, right end. Magnitude of fixed moment WL by 8. W is 40, L is equal to 8, and WL divided by 8. 40 into 8 divided by 8. Answer is 40. Fixed moments are 40. Now reactions. Reactions are always calculated in two parts. Reaction because of external load, that is 40 kilonewton, and reaction because of moments acting at ends, that is fixed moments. Okay, so moment reaction because of external load 40. Since it is a central point load, the reactions will be W by 2, W by 2. So it is 20 and 20. These are the two reactions because of external load. Now reaction because of moments. Reaction because of moments are equal to sum of moment divided by span. Sum of moment. Left moment is plus 40, right moment is minus 40. So sum of moment plus 40 minus 40 is equal to 0. If sum of moment is equal to 0, there is no reaction because of moments. So first element figure is over, right? Similarly, now second element. Similarly, second element. It is subjected to central point load of magnitude 20 kilonewton. Span is again 4 meter, 4 meter. So fixed moments again WL by 8. Anti-clockwise at left end and clockwise at right end. So WL by 8, 20 into 8 divided by 8. Fixed moments are 20 and 20. Now reactions, again in this case reaction because of external force 20, central point load, half of the load W by 2, W by 2. It will be 10 reactions, and sum of moment plus 20 minus 20, anti-clockwise clockwise, plus 20 minus 20, sum of moment will be 0. So there is no reaction because of moments. So like this, now to find out element nodal load vector Q, restrain the first element and restrain the second element. Now write down element nodal load vectors. So first Q1 from element number 1, element nodal load vector for element number 1. So displacements corresponding to element number 1 are WA, theta A, WB, theta B. These are the four displacements. WA, theta A, WB, theta B. WA, theta A, WB, theta B are the four displacements corresponding to first element. Now if unknown is WA, corresponding action is reaction at A. If unknown is theta A, corresponding reaction is moment at A. If unknown is WB, corresponding action is reaction at B. And if unknown is theta B, corresponding action is moment at B. So we have to write down first element corresponding to WA is reaction at A. Reaction at A is plus 20. Second element is theta A, corresponding action is moment at A. Moment at A is anti-clockwise 40, means plus 40. Third unknown is WB, corresponding action is reaction at B. Reaction at B is plus 20. Last element is theta B, corresponding action is moment at B. Moment at B is clockwise 40, means minus 20. So this is first element nodal load vector. Similarly, from second element, write down Q2. Second element nodal load vector, the corresponding displacements of element number 2 are WB, theta B, WC, theta C. So 4 displacements. WB, theta B, WC, theta C. These are the 4 displacements. Corresponding actions, corresponding forces are: first is reaction at B, then moment at B, reaction at C, and moment at C. Reaction at B, moment at B, reaction at C, and moment at C. These are the 4 actions corresponding to displacement. So first element WB, corresponding action is reaction at B. Reaction at B is 10. Second element is theta B, corresponding action moment at B. Moment at B is anti-clockwise 20. Anti-clockwise 20 means plus 20. Third element is WC, corresponding action is reaction at C. Reaction at C is 10. Last element is theta C, corresponding action is moment at C. Moment at C is clockwise 20, means minus 20. So like this, complete element nodal load vector for element 1 and element 2. Now we have to find out final element nodal load vector Q, which is corresponding to unknown displacements only. We know that 4 displacements are 0 out of these 6. So we have to write down small q for only unknown displacement. So final q, that is final element nodal load vector, is equal to our final unknowns are theta B and WC. So write down only 2 elements corresponding to theta B and WC. So theta B means this minus 40, element theta B minus 40, and theta B element plus 20. So minus 40 and plus 20, answer is minus 20. First element is minus 20. Now second is WC. WC means WC element is plus 10. So second element is plus 10. So this is final element nodal load vector. Q is equal to minus 20 and plus 10. Step number 4. Equivalent load vector. Equivalent load vector, which is represented by vector F. So fourth step, calculate equivalent load vector. F is equal to minus of Q. Means this Q you have to take only minus sign. So minus of Q plus in the original structure, if any forces are given corresponding to unknown displacement acting at the joints, those forces you have to consider here. It means if your first unknown is theta B, if unknown is rotation at B, corresponding force is moment at B. So you have to see is there any moment is acting at joint B in the original structure or not? So if you look at joint B, there is no external moment as acting. So this element is equal to 0. Similarly, second unknown is WC. WC means vertical displacement at C. If displacement is vertical, corresponding force is vertically downward point load. So you have to see, is there any point load is acting at joint C or not? So in the original structure, there is no point load acting at joint C. So this element is also equal to 0. So in the original structure, there is no forces acting at the joints corresponding to unknown displacement. Okay. Now F is equal to minus Q. Q is equal to this. So minus of Q is equal to minus Q plus, in the original structure, if any forces acting, those are 0. So final answer for F, final answer for equivalent load vector F is equal to this minus minus plus 20 and minus 10. So this is your final equivalent load vector. Once you get the equivalent load vector, the last step to calculate the unknown displacement is apply equation of equilibrium, K into delta is equal to F. Okay. So final equation of equilibrium, K into delta is equal to F. K is equal to this reduced stiffness matrix 1 minus 0.0937, 0.0234. This is K into delta. Delta means vector of unknowns. Unknowns are theta, P and WC. Is equal to F. F is equal to plus 20 minus 10. So if you put these two equations to unknowns in matrix form in your calculator, and if you solve these two equations to unknowns, you will get the final answers of unknown displacements theta b and WC. So theta b is equal to, final answer theta b is equal to minus 32 point theta b is equal to minus 32.078 upon EI, and WC is equal to minus 555.80 upon EI. These are your final displacements. Okay, so like this we have calculated unknown displacements. Out of 6, first 4 are 0 because of boundary conditions, and remaining 2 we have determined. Right? Once you get the unknown displacement, the last step remaining is to calculate moments and reactions. So to calculate moments and reactions, the equation which we have to use, K into delta plus small q is equal to capital Q. This equation we have to use to calculate the moments and reactions. But remember, this equation you have to apply to each element separately. Okay, so for first element, if you apply, write down stiffness matrix of first element K1, delta 1, then small q1 is equal to capital Q. So if you refer our first step, element stiffness matrix, where we have derived the stiffness matrix of each element. So K1 is equal to K1 is equal to 0.0234, 0.0937, minus 0.0234, 0.0937. This is first row of K1. This is 0.5 minus 0.0937, 0.25. This is K1. Already we have written in step number 1. So K1 into delta 1. Delta 1 means values of 4 displacements. Delta 1 means values of 4 displacements corresponding to element 1. So displacement corresponding to element 1 are WA, theta A, WB, theta B. So WA, theta A, WB, theta B. Now values of these 4 displacements are known to us. WA, theta A and WB. These 3 displacements are 0 because of boundary conditions. WA, theta A because of fixed support and WB equal to 0 because of roller support. Now theta B we have calculated here. Theta B is equal to minus 32.078. Take 1 upon EI outside the vector. This EI will get cancelled with this EI. So K1 into delta 1 plus small q1 element nodal load vector for element number 1. So small q1 we have written in step number 3, that is element nodal load vector. From that write down small q1. Small q1 is equal to this is the value of small q1 which we have already calculated in step number 3. So K into delta 1 plus small q1 is equal to your unknown moments and reactions in element number 1. Which are the unknown moments and reaction in element number 1? Element number 1. So left joint is A, right joint is B. So unknown reactions and moments. Okay, so reaction is RA. And moment is MAB at joint number A. And at node B, it is RB and MB. Now why to write down this reaction in this sequence? Because our displacements are WA, theta A, WB and theta B. Our unknown displacements are in this sequence. So if unknown is WA, corresponding action is reaction at A. If unknown is theta A, corresponding reaction is moment at A, that is MAB. If unknown is WB, corresponding action is reaction at B. And if unknown is theta B, corresponding action is reaction moment at B, that is MB. So always write down reactions and forces in the sequence of unknown displacement. So now if you multiply this K with the delta, means first row into first column, this row into this column, plus this first element 20 equal to, you will get value of RL. Similarly, second row into this column plus second element, you will get MAB. Third row into same column plus 20, you will get RB. And fourth row into this column plus minus 40, you will get MB. Okay, so like this you have to calculate final moments and reactions. So right now I don't have final answers of moments and reactions, but you can calculate those moment and reactions if you carefully perform the calculations. Okay, so this is second problem on analysis of continuous beam using finite element method if guided support is provided in the beam. Remember, in guided support, WC vertical displacement is not equal to 0, but theta C is equal to 0. Okay, there will be one more problem we will solve in the next class. That is problem number 3 in the beam. If spring support is provided, which will be the again one more special type of support in the beam analysis. Okay, so we will see in the next class the analysis of continuous beam with the spring support provided. So for this class, I thank you very much. Please go through the video again and try to understand the solution completely. Okay, thank you very much.